and Roberta were able to be intimate quickly before Danielle came back. And it was a good laugh because Roberta was laughing, "Oh no, sister be back." No.
This is a couple from a television show. I found the man to be so disturbing that I have to do a video about it. If you guys haven't heard about this, get ready because this one is a wild ride. If you're unaware of what Seeking Sister Wife is, it is a reality television show that follows a bunch of polygamist families or couples on their search to find another wife to add to their family. There are some couples on the show that I find to be very normal. You can tell it's a very mutual thing between all of the couples involved. There's like a mixture of families on here. There's one, it's a Mormon man that has 2 wives and they're seeking another wife. And there's also this other polygamous couple, the Snowdens, where they have some controversies behind their belt. If you guys want me to do a video about them, I totally will because there are some things to say. But today we're going to be talking about a couple that was introduced to Seeking Sister Wife on season 3. That couple is by the name of Garrick and Danielle. Garrick is the one that I have a problem with.
Second problem is that this video came from the pregnancy vault, meaning I filmed it when I was pregnant 2 months ago. I found it half edited and was like, why did I never post this? And then I realized that the video starts to get blurry and it kind of feels like you're watching it with your eyes crossed. If you guys have an issue with the blurriness of this video, close your eyes and listen to the sweet sounds of me talking shit about people.
Now, Garrick and Danielle did not come from a polygamous background, and I don't think they knew anybody that was polygamist, if I'm not mistaken, but they were Christians and followed that belief. So when they got married, it was a mutual thing between the two of them to have a monogamous relationship. They had been married for over 10 years and together they had 2 sons. This whole time they've been together, there has been no mention of another wife. They were just living their monogamous relationship. It's described in the show that they had had some marital issues at some point.
Thinking about the past and, us going through our ups and downs and printing off divorce papers and not going through with it, but almost.
Yeah.
And Danielle really takes a lot of the blame on herself. They talk about how Garrick had printed off divorce papers at one point or had them printed off.
So yeah, there was times because of that, like Garrick did print off papers and was like, I can't do this anymore, and I didn't blame him.
So it was a consideration at some point in their relationship to actually split up and to get a divorce. And Danielle takes the blame and says that it was her and that she needed to make some changes essentially. Now, I don't know if the changes that she needed to make are in connection to him deciding he wanted to live a polygamous lifestyle. I'm gonna let you guys be the judge of that by the time we finish this video, but just with some of the things that were said on the show throughout the 12 episodes that aired, I couldn't help but wonder if she was gaslit into believing that it was all her fault. I noticed him doing that a lot, which we'll be talking about in a moment. Garrick began lacking fulfillment in his life and in his marriage, obviously. So I don't know if he started lacking the fulfillment before he found a Bible verse about polygamy, or if he found the Bible verse and then thought, ooh, that sounds fun, and then started lacking fulfillment. But apparently he had been reading the Bible and he came across a scripture about polygamy.
I believe in the Bible and multiple people in there had multiple wives. And I thought, gee, the people in there are godly people and God loved them. So I then realized God wasn't against that.
And they don't say what scripture it is, but perhaps it was Exodus 21:10 that says, if he take another wife for himself, her food, her clothing, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish? Maybe he was trying not to diminish and thought, So when Garrick first approached the idea of polygamy to his wife, Danielle, she was obviously not on board.
I think the first few times that Garrick started talking about men having more than one wife, I was shocked, I didn't want this lifestyle. I wasn't excited about it. I don't think I fully understood what it meant to have a sister wife and add to your family that way. So it was a little bit of a struggle.
And she was not excited. I can imagine, if my husband brought that up to me, I'd have some serious issues. So I don't know if it was really after a few months of prayer, or if it was after a few months of Garrick potentially allegedly threatening to divorce her if she didn't want to live that lifestyle because suddenly he believed that that's what he was supposed to do. But either way, Danielle decided she was on board.
Yeah, I didn't move forward until she said, go do it.
It's all my fault.
You did it.
But when you watch the show, even though she says that she decided she was on board, you can tell that she's not. It is glaringly obvious that this is not something that she wants to do. And yeah, you could say she chose to stay with him and she chose to make these decisions, but when you're gaslit and manipulated, the decisions that you make may be a little bit different than what you would do if you weren't in love with someone that was pressuring you and gaslighting you into believing that you were the problem. So the two of them began to search for a sister wife, and they ended up finding Roberta. She was a Brazilian woman that only spoke Portuguese, and they talked to her for a year and 4 months before they decided that they were gonna meet up with her. I also wanna say, I find it really interesting, like they talked for a year and 4 months, but he didn't take the time to learn her language. It's usually men on there that get really obsessed with these women from other countries, and they are so in love with them like quickly, like at the drop of the hat. They're like, this is the one for me. But they don't take the time to learn how to actually talk to them. They just use like those little apps on their phone to communicate.
Eu estou pouco cansada, vou tomar banho e vou deixar vocês pouco sozinhos, tá bom?
I'm a little tired. I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to leave you a little alone, okay?
I'm sorry, like if I fell in love with somebody that spoke another language, I would want to learn how to communicate with them. I would also want to know that it was mutual and that they wanted to learn how to communicate with me. They're like, we're gonna be in love and get married and have all these babies and talk to each other on the phone through a translator app forever. So after a year and 4 months, he didn't even learn how to communicate with her properly, but he was ready to go there and make things official. Prior to them going to visit Roberta, they knew that they were going to propose. And by they, Garrick was gonna propose to Roberta. He hasn't even met her yet, already knows he wants to marry her. They discovered that there wasn't gonna be any easy way to bring Roberta to the United States. The only way that they were going to be able to make this work out was for Danielle and Garrick to legally get divorced and for him to marry Roberta.
We talked to an attorney, and that's pretty much the only way they'll allow her to come to America is on a fiancé visa. So these papers are the last thing we have to get together before we go to court to finalize our divorce.
The ring still means you're stuck with me.
Yeah?
So should we sign them?
So I guess so.
I'm still keeping your last name.
This was really sad because you could see even prior to this that when he had been threatening divorce to Danielle, that it was something that really hurt her. She was doing all of these things for him, trying to make him happy, trying to let him have another wife. It's difficult to watch somebody just trying to make somebody else happy all the time when they're clearly not happy. But it literally ends with the two of them getting divorced anyway, so he can marry another woman. I mean, there's a clip of her saying that like her fear was that he was gonna end up actually leaving her once they got legally divorced. It actually showed them while they were in the process of signing these divorce papers and getting legally divorced.
Do you believe that your marriage is irretrievably broken?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Miss Merrifield. Do you need a tissue?
Yes, please.
It is a weird situation watching two people that still want to be married but are getting divorced anyways. I mean, there was just a lot of sacrifices that were being made for this woman that they had not met yet. Danielle said in the show, it is scary. If Garrick leaves me and runs off with Roberta, I could be left with nothing. I just have to trust that Garrick's not leaving me and that living a plural lifestyle is about building our family. That should be something you should be confident in from the very beginning, or maybe you guys shouldn't be doing it. So they end up going there and meeting Roberta. Roberta seems to be like she is really trying to make Danielle feel comfortable and that she's trying to make sure that she's on board with this whole thing. He didn't look like a guy that was in love and wanted to get married. He looked like a guy that wanted to get laid with somebody that wasn't his wife that he had been with for 10 years. I'm just saying it like it is. So of course with Roberta, he's saying all the things that she wants to hear.
My intention was to be honest and open with her all the time. No.
He's gonna make sure to be telling her that so that she's fully comfortable. He officially proposed to her on their second night together. I don't even think they had been around each other a full 48 hours yet. And he spent the night with Roberta for the first time, the night that they got engaged. Roberta ended up figuring out that Danielle was upset and crying in the other room, and she felt really bad about this. So she said she wanted Danielle to come in there and spend the night with them. I'm sure that's not what Garrick wanted though.
Last night was very special, so I wanted to bring the sister close to us. I was not going to be able to leave her alone there in the room because after a long time without seeing us, my love spoke louder, so I brought her here with my little baby. Oh, wow.
It truly means a lot to me that Garrick and Roberta would set aside their intimacy for that first night. It gives me reassurance that Bert is in this for Garrick and also me.
So Danielle leaves the room to go get her pajamas. And then guess what? They end up hooking up in that little span of time. The first time that they end up doing anything is when Danielle is going to get her pajamas.
After Roberta demanded that she stay the night in the room with us, Danielle had to go back and get her stuff and stuff. So me and Roberta were able to be intimate quickly before Danielle came back. And it was a good laugh because Roberta was laughing, oh no, sister, be back. No.
Like he couldn't even wait. And I know he's the one that pursued that because I have such a hard time believing that Roberta was like, yeah, I want her to come stay in here with us. Let's make our first time the quickest thing we've ever done. Danielle, of course, ends up figuring it out. And I just can't help be feeling like disgusted for her because she went back in there and slept in the bed with them, not knowing that in the short span of time she wasn't in there, that they were having sex with each other. And then she goes and gets in the bed that they just did that in.
Kind of took me by surprise because I felt like that first night Roberta made me feel like she just wanted it to be about us and family. And hearing that when I came back to get my pajamas on, you guys had sex, it wasn't easy, I guess maybe because I just wasn't expecting it. Yeah.
It was so disrespectful. Like she knew that they were gonna do it anyways. Like she knew that it was gonna happen, but the way that they did it was disgusting and disrespectful. They end up going back because they have to. And then there's this whole storyline with them where Roberta, because of her age, it's this urgency that they need to try and make a baby. So they plan a trip to go see Roberta. They specifically planned a trip around her ovulation cycle so that there would be a higher chance of her getting pregnant. And not only did they do that, but they took their 2 sons and Danielle's mom and dad with them. And then they all stay in this one big villa all together, knowing that Garrick and Roberta are gonna be in this room over here trying to make a baby every night. I can't make this stuff up. And not only that, how irresponsible is that to the baby? Because you don't even know that she's gonna get approved to come to the US at that point. Because in a few months, she's gonna have aged past her baby making time. But right now is fine, but in a few months it won't be. Let's hurry up and do this. Danielle expressed that she wanted them to wait. She literally expressed that she wanted them to wait. And for me, I think it's super important in polygamy and these types of relationships to have an open dialogue and for you guys to work together. The thing that I find extremely annoying is that when you go to Garrick's Instagram, there are no pictures of him with Danielle. There are pictures of him with Roberta though, which goes along with the whole theme of this show where he looks so entirely uninterested in Danielle. As soon as he met Roberta, you could tell it all became about Roberta. And there is so much gaslighting that he does. Like whenever Danielle expresses some sort of concern that she has, he always comes back with Bible and God thing. And you can tell he's one of those people that tries to use the Bible and God and religion and all of that to manipulate others into getting what he wants out of them.
Both ladies will have to work through that, and their faith in God and their time in prayer will be the only way that they're going to be able to get through this.
So if he tells Danielle that something is God's plan, or it says this in the Bible, she's more than likely to do it, as opposed to him just saying it. I also was just looking at this guy and like, I'm not for bullying and stuff like that, but I don't understand what either one of these women see in him. And that happens a lot in these polygamous relationships that I've seen. I always end up wondering like why that specific man was able to get all these women. I'm like, I got questions. I just feel like his brain wasn't working at 100% is all I'm trying to say. What did you guys think about this? Have you heard about Garrick and Danielle, and do you watch Seeking Sister Wife? Let me know in the comments, and if you guys want a video on the Snowden family, definitely let me know, because there was a lot of stuff that went on with them that I ended up finding out after the show finished airing. So if you guys would like to hear all about that, let me know. Either way, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll be seeing you guys soon for another video.